So everybody, we have with us Mr. Rajgopal Menon, who's the Vice President for Marketing at WesireX, and who's agreed to do this section with us, a very interesting section on cryptocurrency and its future in India. And thank you very much, Raj, for agreeing to do this with us. It's
Thank
a
you,
pleasure
Kanchi,
to
for
have
having.
you.
Thank you, Kanchi, for having me.
Thank you.
Right.
So very quickly, we'll jump into the first question that we have for you. And one of the recent changes that has happened in the cryptocurrency space is a cryptocurrency official digital currency bill that's been now formalized, and the inherent regulation impact. Uh, what do you see, and how do you see it impacting the popularity of crypto investments?
Oh, it's actually excellent news, Kanchi. So what has happened is that what you're seeing in terms of crypto adoption in India are the very brave early adopters. So those are the people who are ahead of the curve, who've heard about crypto, who've heard about the fantastic returns that certain coins and tokens have given, and they want to experience it. The larger and the more serious money is just sitting on the sidelines because they are waiting for regulation. Now, what this budget has done is that it has put India on the path to regulation. So, what the finance minister has done is that she has put, certain provisions in place for taxation, which is the foresee, which is the I think the earliest chapter in terms of crypto regulation. So there is a bill that we are expecting sometime soon, which will address the entire sector as it were. But in this budget session, what she has done is that she has put in place important provisions for taxation, which removes the grayness which has been surrounding the space. So what I think, and a lot of investors will come into crypto in a big space, in a big way. In fact, the day after it was announced, we saw record new registrations, not just in WesireX, but across the board in terms of crypto, in terms of people coming on board and wanting to get a piece of crypto in their portfolio.
Right. So that's very beautifully articulated. And when we talk about cryptocurrency, the one thing that comes to mind is the future of money. And there's a large part of the population that is still struggling between fiat currency investments and digital assets. So, what according to you would it take to encourage people who are sitting on the fence or just there to kind of adopt and park their investments in crypto?
So it's a very nuanced question that you've asked. So I'll try and answer it the best I can. So crypto can be anything that you want to be. It depends upon the lens that you're looking at crypto from. So if you are in Russia and in Ukraine, crypto becomes your money. Crypto becomes your passport out of a crumbling economy, out of a currency that is melting, and you can literally see your wealth, lifetimes accumulation of wealth vanishing in front of your eyes. If you are in Venezuela, it means something else. If you are in India, it means, or in a relatively stable economy, it becomes just a mode of investment. Okay, it becomes an asset that you own. In India, at least, the crypto companies are very clear that we don't want to displace the INR or the Indian rupee as a store of exchange or a measure of or a medium of exchange. We are very clear we don't want to do that. What we are saying is that treat it as another asset. You can invest in gold, you can invest in mutual funds, you can invest in crypto. That is our entire submission to the government, and we're glad that the government is looking at it in some such way. Now, coming back, if you're an evolved user and you've experienced crypto and you've understood what crypto can do for you, you could get into decentralized finance, which is actually the future of money or what you're referring to. But that is actually not for the early adopters. That is actually not meant for common users. As crypto evolves, the UI becomes a lot more easier. The interfaces become a lot more simpler. Right now, it is like the early phase of the web where everyone is just trying to figure out how it happens. And if you're reasonably technically savvy, you can get your own wallet and then you can swap currencies and so on and so forth. But we are not there yet. If you are even more nuanced investor, you could actually say, I want to own digital art, which is NFTs. I want to support my favorite artist, my favorite rock band. I want to support my favorite vocal artist. That's where NFTs come in. So it depends upon the lens that you want to look at crypto through. Right now, we are focusing on let's make as many people and as many Indians adopt crypto. And WesireX is one gateway for you to do that.
in extension to what you've just, taken us through, uh, what according to you would it take to create a successful digital rupee architecture? Do you see the central bank coming up with its own currency anytime soon? Do
There,
anyone do?
in fact, it is very, the minister has very clearly said that there is a digital rupee around the corner. Now, if you, now that is an announcement. Okay. I work for a cryptocurrency company, so a crypto exchange actually. So I know how difficult it is to actually do it. So I understand how the troubles that the government will go through to actually get it, because resources are very, very difficult to get. To get a very good developer or a programmer in the space is next to impossible. And right now, what is happening is that if you are a developer who's working in Solidity, which is what Ethereum runs on, you can work for WazirX, you can work for Government of India, you can work for any company anywhere in the world, and you'll be paid a king's ransom for it. So the plan is in place. I think what they will do is that they'll figure out, they will put their brains behind figuring out what the digital currency is. They will have a vision for it, and they'll outline a plan. Then comes the execution part of it. The execution part of it is the most difficult. I suspect that it will take anything between 6 months to a year to get a minimum viable product out. And this is India, right? And this is money. What we anything that needs to be that handles money has to be tested extensively. So you'll have field trials, you'll have extensive testing happening. So it will happen, but how soon or how far it depends upon a lot of circumstances, and we can only we can only at best guesstimate. So anything between 6 months to 18 months is what we can see a minimum viable CDBC INR coming out, digital rupee.
And do you see probably a pull towards CBDC in the future versus the other coins that exist, especially with Indians? Will that happen?
It's too early to say, Kanchi, because right now, if you look at the CBDC experiment, everyone's talking about it. China is the only country that, according to me, has gone some distance, and even they have not implemented it fully for us to understand the implications, or they're being very closed about it. So what happens is that it depends upon the use cases that the CBDC does. So if it is for subsidies, for example, yes, it's very, very interesting. But if you look at the other aspect of CBDCs, or if you're looking at a digital economy or the digital currency or the digital economy of India, we are the biggest economy in terms of digital transactions anywhere in the world. Okay, what the government of India has managed to pull off through the Aadhaar Jandhan and Aadhaar is phenomenal. So in terms of digital transactions, we are second to none. In fact, we lead China in terms of digital transactions. So the government has the rails in place through UIDI and Aadhaar. They can experiment with it, but they already have a very efficient infrastructure in place to the direct debit system, where you can actually transfer money to the farmers who actually need it. The government is already doing that. It already reaches the last mile and into the farmer's account. So CBDC works best in countries like which don't have this infrastructure in place. When you already have such a very good infrastructure and a working infrastructure in place, why would you want to reinvent the wheel, would be my question. So to understand the use cases of CBDC, we would have to look at it and understand what the government is proposing in its fullest measure, and only then I can comment on it. But I think India as a country is already ahead of the curve when it comes to digital currencies and digital economies.
Thank you. That actually kind of demystifies a lot in the investor's mind in terms of where the government is going with, cryptocurrency and digital assets for the future. So thank you for beautifully articulating it. Touching upon something that we previously mentioned in this conversation, which is NFTs. What are your thoughts on building up crypto products in India for a token-based future?
So a lot of projects are already doing that. So we have our own NFT exchange, and the traction on that NFT exchange is phenomenal. There are I think 2 or 3 exchanges have been launched. NFT exchanges have been launched in the last 3 months. So NFT is a new sexy. So you'll see a lot of action happening in the NFT front. And in India, we haven't actually discovered the power of NFT. We are still stuck on how can I make more money out of cryptocurrencies or crypto tokens? But the next step or the next evolution of of the crypto revolution is NFT, and the amount of numbers of people flocking to our NFT exchange actually show that people are tremendously excited. So again, we are looking at NFT as a very niche product, but what NFT does is that it democratizes art. So all of us, we live in India where accommodation is cramped, there is space is a problem, but the digital space is unlimited. And what is happening is that you can use NFTs as customization your digital identity online. That's what NFT does, right? I am rich, I own a board ape. That's what it does. So the entire NFT space is about exhibitionism of your newfound wealth. That's what it is. But if you look at it at a certain more macro level, what it will do is that your own avatar you will be able to own. So you can commission your favorite artist to, or to commission to make art that best represents yourself in the digital space. Right now, we are very happy with exhibiting our digital profiles, and even now you can see cartoon versions and illustrated versions of yourself. But what if I could put the avatar that I have in my favorite video game? I can put it and I can accessorize it, and I can dress it up the way I want to, and all of that can be done by a digital version of Manish Malhotra. Right now Manish Malhotra does it for Katrina Kaif, but imagine hundreds of Manish Malhotras who understand the video game ecosystem, who understand the crypto ecosystem, hawking their products for you, and you can accessorize yourself and showcase the best digital version of yourself. That's what it's all going towards.
Right. So that's what the future has in store with NFTs. And what, in your view, could be the synergies between India's crypto startups and the financial services sector?
So if you look at DeFi, which is the shorthand for decentralized finance, what the crypto enthusiasts, and I counted myself as one, believe is that we are working on it's the new Wild West. We are actually building the rails for the financial future of tomorrow. So what this does is that it removes a lot of intermediaries. What this does is that it brings costs down tremendously. What it does is that it removes a lot of friction. We are in the early days yet, but for example, if you have to send money, or remittance is a key way where a lot of Indians, is the largest way where India earns its foreign exchange. But what it does is that the current system as it exists, it takes 3 to 4 days and charges you anything between 10 to 15% of, and I'm not taking into account the foreign exchange fluctuations also that come into it. But if I have to transfer Bitcoin from one person to the other, it happens near instantaneously, and it happens at a few rupees of conversion, not even conversion, of transfer rate. So what Bitcoin or what crypto does is that the promise of crypto is that it democratizes everything. It removes the friction of everything by removing intermediaries. So the moment you remove a lot of vested interests, a lot of costs come down. And when costs come down, a lot of people benefit. So that's what crypto does. So I know it's a little difficult to understand, but when you actually experience the power of just transferring money from one person to the other without anyone coming in the way, and I've transferred 100 rupees to you and you get 100 rupees worth of crypto, that's what it does. Otherwise typically you get only 85 rupees or 80 rupees if you're lucky after 3 days. So that's the promise of crypto in just remittance. But there are a whole host of other things that can happen. People who go for bank loans, you could be rejected for a bank loan based on your credit history, based on the wrong surname that you have. If you caught the bank manager in a bad mood, he'll just reject you outright, right? But what crypto does is that it removes all the vagaries of human interaction out of the way. So, you could get a loan immediately at a click of a button. What it could do is peer-to-peer lending. So I can lend to some farmer out there through a smart contract, and he promises to pay me back. That's what smart contracts are all about. There are no intermediaries involved. So there is sowing season that is around. The farmer needs 2,000 rupees to buy his seeds. I just want to lend it to him. The contract says, okay, fine. At the end of say 90 days, the farmer will pay me back, and the contract takes care of it. The smart contract takes care of it. So that's what the future is looking, and it's a very, very bright future for all of us. Kachi, I can assure you that.
Thank you. Actually, this has been a brilliant conversation. Thank you very much, Raj, for doing it with us. And I'm sure that all of the audience is going to enjoy this piece very much. So thank you very much once again.
Thank you, Kanchi, for having me.